New scrutiny for Jacksonville's elected representative to Congress, Democrat Corrine Brown, will be investigated by a panel of the House Ethics Committee. The Washington ethics probe is one of two new developments in the controversy swirling around Congresswoman Brown. First, Mayor Curry has announced he wants more information on the involvement of Brown and her staff with the Jacksonville Transportation Authority.
Channel 4's Jim Piggott joining us live downtown at Congresswoman Brown's local office with more on both of these developments. Jim?
You know, we tried talking to the Congresswoman today. We told that she is in town, but they won't let us into her office here to see if she is here. And we're basically hearing that there was just no comment from her. But I do want to go over some of the allegations that the House Ethics Commission is going to investigate. These are some of the things they want to look at. They want to see if there's any improper conduct related to outside organizations that Brown is involved with, including that she may have conspired with others in some fraudulent activity. They're also looking to see if she improperly solicited charitable donations, used campaign funds for personal reasons, used official resources for non-official purposes, and also failed to comply with tax laws and made some false statements and just not disclosing information to the House or to the Federal Election Commission. Now, the one thing that this commission did vote on today is to delay their investigation. That was at the request of the Department of Justice. So we talked to our political analyst, Jennifer Carroll, about that, and she explains what all of this means.
The DOJ has asked the House Ethics Committee to hold off for right now. We defer it. Let us finish our investigation, and if there is any criminal actions that we've found to be in penalty, that we will refer either an indictment or other charges to be brought up on Congresswoman Brown. So the House Ethics Committee says right now that we will hold off, but they don't have to hold off forever. They can pick up this investigation a year from now, months from now.
And, you know, there were some other concerns regarding the Congresswoman today as well, and that is with her staff and their involvement with the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. And Mayor Curry has some questions as well. He wrote a very brief email to the JTA asking for a meeting to look at some of the issues, what he called some of the high-profile issues involving JTA and some other issues. But actually what it comes down to is one staff member, Vaughn Alexander, who also works as a subcontractor with JTA, and that's the concern, and that's what they want to find out. Like the email he sent to the Jacksonville Transportation Authority, Mayor Lenny Curry didn't say much about why he wants to talk to them, only that it's important for him to stay informed.
There's been a series of events in the news cycle connected to the JTA. I'm just doing my job, so I want to spend some time with the CEO and have a conversation and discuss those issues.
Those issues include Congresswoman Corrine Brown and staff member Vaughn Alexander. She works for the Congresswoman in Jacksonville, helping with her appointments and press. But she's also a subcontractor for another firm, Jones Worley, which serves as a communications consultant to JTA. Because of Congresswoman Corrine Brown's involvement with transportation issues and appropriations from Congress made to JTA, having a staff member indirectly work for JTA could be a conflict. Mayor Curry says those reports are raising questions.
I'm involved with the independent authorities. They're a part of the city of Jacksonville and going to continue to make sure that I have the knowledge that I need to make sure that we're looking out for taxpayers.
But Curry says they're looking at other issues as well, including this lawsuit filed against JTA. We first reported it last January about how a local insurance company is suing because it claims JTA yanked a contract from them after the company didn't contribute to Mayor Alvin Brown's campaign.
All I know are the news reports that I've read. This isn't a single news cycle or a single issue, if you will, as laid out in my email. There's a series of things that I want to talk about, and until we have that meeting and talk, there really is no other further information.
You know, my colleague Scott Johnson did call Corrine Brown on her cell phone, and she actually picked up, but she had no comment to any of this. Also, Vaughn Alexander, I talked to her attorney. They had no comment as well. We're live downtown. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.